All right, Ben. Well, I realized I was having a good Friday until I realized today was Thursday. I am Walt, Durham, rare coin expert,
Industry veteran Ben Parker.
and we are the coin guys from Texas. I mean, you can't get more Texas than us right now.
Oh no, it's about
I mean,
as
your
Texas
cowboy
as it
hats are
gets.
legendary on YouTube.
Yeah. Just wait until fall. I might have a new one.
I'll wear my felt hat in fall.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go get a new straw hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about what's kind of market updates, where we go from here. Second half of 2024 is coming up. A lot of big things have been happening. President Trump was shot, or some of you may believe he wasn't shot. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But first, gold and silver are making news.
They're on a roll. There's
Yeah,
no other way to word it.
Are we coming out of the summer doldrums?
I don't know if we were even in doldrums at one point. I mean, we've witnessed the all-time high spot price for gold record broken multiple times this year, and we're in one of those periods where it was just broken again. And I'll go ahead and I'll jump into the spot prices just to get this out of the way. But right now, so it's been a little bit of time since the weekend. As of filming, today's Thursday. So Thursday the 18th, gold right now is $2,454 on the spot price. So we've had previous predictions for this year.
Congratulations, Ben Parker.
Yeah. See, and I undercut it a little bit, but this has been a really unusual year as far as the spot price goes.
Really has.
It's been great. Silver is at $29.97, so we're seeing a little bit. I think, in my opinion, that this is some people that had purchased before that are selling now.
A little profit taking.
Because we did see in previous days, we saw it actually surpass $31, go up a little bit above that. So some people are doing some profit right now. And platinum and palladium, they're really down a little bit, but those aren't really influenced by any things that are happening right now. That, like I said before in previous episodes, those are primarily industrial, or that industry can push it. So they're at 970 for platinum, and palladium's at 916. So things are definitely moving right now. Just in the last couple days, the spot price for all the metals was at its peak in the short term. But of course, and I wanted to ask you this, do you think this is primarily because of the attempted assassination on Trump?
Man, that's so hard to say. It just really is. I think job reports play a big part in that. But yeah, I think it has a little bit to do with it. How much it's just so hard with, little things can affect precious metal prices, right? And all commodities for that matter. But yeah, I think it does. It's a little uncertainty in the world. Whether you're a Trump fan or not, 80 million people voted for Trump in the last election. That's a lot of people. And, an assassination of a former president or attempted assassination of a former president is big. It's a big deal. I mean, when I found out about the news, I was on the lake. I might have told you this story. I was out on the lake and I started getting text messages and I was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, he was just, he's grazed or whatever. But then, like, when you have time to sit down and reflect, like, no, somebody took a shot at his head. I've seen the 3D recreations of it. That would have been epically bad if he wouldn't have turned his head. Like, it wasn't like he was shot in the shoulder or anything. Like, it was a dead zero headshot that he turned away from in the last split second, right? Thank God for those, graphs he brought to the rally, right? That's a big deal, and I think it did play a lot in gold or some part into what gold has done lately. How much, that's to be. I mean, that's for other people to decide. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we can't really, tell the future on how much influence this event is going to have on the election. But I would say the primary cause for a lot of uncertainty in the spot price of gold, well, I would say as uncertainty rises, we do see precious metals taking a change from that. The thing is, though, something changed. I can't pinpoint it directly, but something changed about this election when that event happened. So now, just with some of the talks now about some people on the left pressuring Biden, now the discussion is, does he step down with some of the current things going on with him? There's a lot of uncertainty. So I would say this, in combination of it already being a very emotionally charged election year, there's a lot of things happening. This just added more to the plate.
Yeah, I think tension politically is really high. And I just want to say this now that we have a platform to say something. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. Contempt people don't vote. Pissed off people vote. And so the easiest marketing strategy for both the Republicans and Democrat is to make people mad, right? Because people who are mad will vote. And I say this because you see a lot of hatred from the far left and far right. It's a lot of, and that's because that's what motivates people to vote. Until we can change that in our political climate, we're close to a breaking point, in my opinion. And I know this is a show about coins, and we don't want to get too political, but if we can just keep that, and not everything you see on the internet is true. The amount of false information being spread by both sides, not the heads, just the individual people, but the amount of false information being spread on both sides, like on Twitter or
social media in general. I mean, right now the public
you have access to information so quick, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's right information. Yeah. So do we need to calm down politically? I believe so, as a country as a whole, but will we is the big deal.
I'm afraid we won't. So in terms of all of this going on, what do you think is going to happen to these spot prices as we get closer to the election, as we get closer to the end of the year? What kind of change are we going to see?
Well, here's the hard part, right? Because you're going to see the current leadership, the current government, try to sell the American people that everything's good, right? And there are people who will just believe whatever's told from them from their party.
Right.
And then on the other side of things, you're going to have Donald Trump and Republicans tell you how bad everything is. And it's no secret that gold does well in times of uncertainty. I think gold's going to continue to run a little bit as we head into the election. I think that's just because there is a lot of uncertainty out there. And look, put all your politics aside, you have to have some uncertainty about Biden's well-being. Like, I can't see him making another 4 years, just how far he's declined in the last 4, health-wise, it seems. That in itself is uncertainty. So, a Joe Biden victory could be a victory for Kamala Harris. I mean, I've said it before. At this point, it kind of feels like if you're voting for Biden,
you're almost voting.
For Kamala Harris to take over at some point. Because especially over the last year, in just my opinion, I'm allowed to have an opinion. Don't kill me, YouTube. But in my opinion, his decline in the last year has been significant. And I know if he was my grandpa, I'd be taking his car keys away from him. I know presidents aren't allowed to drive, but just kind of that would be my concern. Just putting all politics aside. So there's a lot of wrapping it back up and back to gold and silver for that matter. There's a lot of uncertainty there, and uncertainty really does drive gold and silver prices. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
I think I'm hearing more and more, since 2020, a lot of people, a good portion of them were hedging against inflation and some of these other things that are happening. And I think that's one of the elements that we tend to forget about that's currently still is an issue in America is some of our spending. I think that's one of the topics we're going to talk about today too. Is
Yeah.
just with inflation, the amount that we're spending right now. I believe it's about to pass. And correct me if I'm wrong. Our total defense spending.
No, currently interest payments have already surpassed our defense spending.
And national debt is close to 35 trillion.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. You know, if you stand back and you look at the big picture, that's a very big issue.
So we talked a little bit about politics, right? And this is not political. You know, COVID forced a lot of government printing of money.
Mm-hmm.
It just did. You know, I don't know if we had a choice. I'm not the president of the United States or smart enough to say that there was another alternative, but you know, we locked people down and you had to subsidize people. You know, what was it? $600 extra a week on unemployment.
I don't know.
You know, and you had all the, you know, we had PPP loans. I mean, you had a lot of stuff that you almost were forced to do as a government to kind of get us, get us through the pandemic. And we're on the other side of that pandemic, and we are paying the price for that. You know, inflation wise, that's a big deal. I mean, inflation and the debt is not going away anytime soon. And, you know, with interest rates at where they are, it's mind boggling. It really is. And I think that's going to play a huge factor on precious metals prices for the next few years. And I believe that's why we've seen such a run up in gold, because the price to buy gold in it takes more US dollars to buy gold than it did 4 years ago or 8 years ago. Not, you know, trying to single out a president or anything. It just takes more. I mean, we've printed money. This has happened to other countries. The people who buy gold, the people probably who watch this show, they buy it because of a hedge. A lot of people get involved because of the hedge against inflation, the printing, the mindless printing of government money. You know, there's nothing backing the U.S. dollar anymore other than, you know, the full faith in the United States government.
Right.
It's a big deal, and it's something that's it's not going to correct whether Donald Trump wins or Joe Biden wins.
It doesn't matter who it is. It's going to be very difficult.
There's not an easy fix.
Yeah.
And I don't know the fix. You know, if I did, I'd be running for president, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's going to play a big part into gold and silver prices, and for that matter, rare coin prices, and anything. It just takes more money to buy stuff. You look at our grocery bills. It is insane when you go grocery shopping and see how much, you know, the same stuff. You know, my wife was telling me the other day about heavy whipping cream. We made some chicken Alfredo or something, you know, a couple of weeks ago. And she said they used to be like $2 whatever it is.
A half gallon or
half
whatever,
gallon. Yeah. Now it's $6. I mean, like, again, $6 is not going to make or break anybody, but that just that's a, you know, 300% increase in price. And, you know, we see it with common stuff, you know, from milk and eggs and other stuff. So inflation's playing a big part in gold. I don't see it going away easy. That's why I'm heavy on gold like right now. I want gold because I believe it's going to help keep up with inflation.
Yeah. So it'll be fun, but I won't try to like pin you down to a certain price, or if you want to, you can. But
what
if you could say gold at the end of the year, where do you see it at?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see $2,600 gold now.
Do you think that's too conservative? Do you think that's?
No, that's just a gut feeling. I mean, and honestly, all these gold experts and, you know, it's all a feeling, right? And just the feeling that I get is that gold's going to be around 2,600. I mean, 2,000 seems so far away right now. and 2000 seems cheap to me. And, beginning of the year, I was like, oh, 2000 gold, that's great. And because for how many years did people call for $2,000 gold before it actually got there, right? And so that's one thing to keep in mind. There's going to be a lot of companies come out that are trying to basically, pander's not the right word, but try to market you to believe that you need to get into gold because it's going to go higher. So you're going to start hearing $3,000 gold is coming, $3,000. Do I think? I mean, I don't think we'll see it this year for sure. But I do just my gut feelings around 2,600. I don't think we'll hit 27. 27 feels high. It's just a feeling.
Mm-hmm. What about silver?
I really think I really like silver under 30. Right? Like I think silver under 30 is cheap. I wouldn't be surprised if we seen 33 to 35 by the end of the year. I think that's very likely. Somewhere in that neighborhood, 33, 35. I don't think, that's when you're going to get into some resistance and profit taking. And I don't think you're going to see $40 silver by the end of the year. But, we've come a long way from, just the end of last year to now. I mean, end of last year, silver was 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Now we're talking 29, 30, 31, 32. Like it's been in those ranges. So that's a significant increase in silver prices. And again, everybody knows the significant increase in gold prices. So just my gut feelings is 33 to 35, I wouldn't be surprised. Somewhere in there. And again, a lot of this comes on, job numbers, inflation numbers, Fed cuts, a lot of this stuff. And my just kind of the current sentiment is like Trump's leading the race, right? So, if Trump does get in office in November or is elected, he won't be in office till January. But if he's elected, will that ease people's concerns with gold, and therefore gold and silver prices kind of take back? But again, to me, the biggest part of it is, our national debt and inflation. And this is not a marketing ploy or however you want to call it. Like our debt has grown substantially over the last few years. And again, the mindless printing of money is bad for the dollar and is good for physical goods. I mean, real estate prices, although I believe that if we could ever get interest rates down, you'll see real estate prices come back a little bit just because you'll have more inventory on the market. But yeah, you just can't print money like we've been doing as a country as a whole and expect, I believe in the next 10 years, we're going to have to see some significant changes or it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's coming to a realization. For so many years, people have said, we can't print money. We can't print money. We can't print money. We can't print money. For so many years, people have said that. And now the U.S. government's, we're actually now just starting to see those effects. Imagine if nothing changes in the next 10 years. And I think that's why you see a lot of safe haven buying with gold and silver right now. So I want to ask you this. Presidential elections coming up in November. How much do you think that's going to affect the metals prices?
That's so tough to answer. And in a lot of ways, I think that it could fluctuate anywhere from 10 to 15% on the high end.
Yeah.
Depending, because I don't know ultimately what's going to happen, who's going to become president. And I don't want to say anything that, looking back on this video, I don't want to say anything too drastic, but I could see a 10 to 15% change based on who becomes president, next 4 years.
So that's basically what I was saying, with gold at 2,400.
I see
that's 10% is $240.
I would say this though, that I could see it hitting 2,700.
You could.
I could see that happening.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, gut feeling wise, I feel like that's the upper echelon.
Well, I'm just saying, you have a certain that I would agree with that. So it would be the outer limit of what gold could probably do is probably around 2,700 because there are people that have been sitting onto it, and if it did jump up, with inflation, the cost of living being higher, it might make sense to sell, a couple ounces of gold, make ends meet, whatever they're doing right now. I mean, just this year alone, that would be this would be a year to remember. From gold, where we started in the beginning of the year, if it finished at 2,700, my gosh, that'd be quite a bit. But yeah, 10 to 15%.
So what do you think the low side is? Based on, like, let's say Trump wins or Biden wins and it affects gold in a negative way, what do you think the low side is?
2250.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. We've had enough happen that every other element that's going on right now, every other event, because there's a whole lot of other things going on outside of the election. But I think 2250 would be the safest rock bottom price.
Yeah, because anything, so it goes back to that feeling, right? It goes back to how that number makes you feel. That's just the way I can describe it. And 2180 gold feels cheap. And so I think for a lot of people, 2180 gold feels cheap. So maybe the bottom, is that 22 to 2250 area. But yeah, like, these are real things, and nobody has a crystal ball. Mine's still in the shop, waiting for it to come out. And these are real things that can affect precious metal prices. And what affects precious metal prices affects what? Coin prices.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it now. So such a run up in gold price, you're seeing premiums affected on, I've talked about this on generic saints. You're seeing premiums affected on just truly rare coins. I mean, when I say truly rare coins, I'm talking about the big dogs. Those coins, they're not breaking records at auction right now. And I think one of everything's being bullion driven right now. And this happens. This happens when we see such a run up in precious metal prices. Same thing back in 2011. I mean, you see premiums just get eaten up by this stuff. But I also think, and maybe you'll agree with me, true, really big dog rare coins were doing really well when the stock market was booming. So that's one thing I think everybody should keep in mind is that, at the end of the day, what drives the coin market is people, actual individuals. If they're seeing their retirement or their savings or whatever you want to call it not doing well, discretionary spending, even though, would you call coins discretionary spending?
In ways I would,
But you just don't have as much funds available. It's easier to make $100,000 purchase when things are going well and you're doing well in your other areas. And so that legitimately affects rare coin prices. Now, I think I don't want to say middle of the road, but let's take a step down. You have the big dog rare coins, and then you have like the coins that are just rare coins. New Orleans minute 10s, the stuff that we commonly recommend. We've seen those do incredibly well because we recently purchased an O Mint 10, an 83O. It's a $125,000 coin. Those are doing extremely well. It's those $600,000-$700,000 coins. When I talk about the big dog rare coins, they're just not breaking records. But O Mint 10s, we talk about it till we're blue in the face. They come up in spurts, and then once that market's dried up, then prices go up. And so, gold's doing well. Extremely well. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Extremely well? Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Gold's doing extremely well. And so a lot of the focus is going to be on gold and just bullion-based products. Silver's done well. Again, your focus is going to be on bullion-based products. But keep in mind that I say this every episode, I feel like, a certain percentage of those people are going to go to to be a collector. Yeah. Stackers, some percentage go over to the collectible side of things. And I think we have a whole episode on that. So that's going to be affecting your affordable rare coins. That's a good word for it, affordable. Mm-hmm. So one of the other things that I think we have to look out for in the second part of 2024, right? We have a lot of global uncertainty right now, and nothing drives precious metal prices more than global uncertainty and inflation. And it seems like we've got both. Mm-hmm. Say what you want, but this wasn't happening, 6 years ago.
Right.
We were pretty much like the world was pretty much at peace. Global uncertainty is a big factor with gold prices. There's a lot of stuff pointing to higher precious metal prices, and global uncertainty is one of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just a lot of tension out there, and as a precious metals dealer, like I would even prefer there not to be tension, out there.
Right.
Don't hear me on that. Like I'm not saying that tension and like is good for business. It's really not. And I think that's going to be a big factor coming up for the second part of 2024. Not trying to get political, but will the American citizens as a whole believe that, oh, well, we didn't see it with Trump and we will see it with Biden, and so if the election goes one way, if Trump gets into office, do people, kind of feel like, hey, this global uncertainty he's going to resolve these issues and therefore prices pull back, or, Biden stays in office and, hey, these, tensions aren't going anywhere, that kind of thing. We're also spending a lot of money or sending a lot of money to Ukraine. That makes a lot of Americans uneasy. And I think that's why I'm saying I can see gold higher than it is today, 2,700.
Yeah, if you're looking at the percentage wise, if you're looking at, is there a greater chance of gold going up or gold going down, you have to lean the direction of gold going up. When you look at everything going on, and I don't want to sound doom and gloom. I'm not trying to scare people and say you need to have gold. It's not anything like that. But when you look at the bigger picture, you have to understand that the current market sentiment is things are heating up.
Right.
Things are not cooling off in any way, shape, or form. And being a realistic person, you have to say things are getting worse. They're not getting better. So it's bittersweet. And, I want more than anything, you want to see unity in the world and in our country and have things go well. It's bittersweet because we are in this area of the market and it tends to do well when there's higher uncertainty. And when there's higher uncertainty, things don't go well. That's where we're at right now. So it's kind of, you have that, you want to be able to have that feeling in the back of your head that says, I've got something that is a hedge against all of that.
Yeah.
So you're not wanting to see things go bad.
Yeah.
You're just saying that in case they do, it's kind of like an insurance policy.
That's, the best articles I've ever read, some of them were, gold is an insurance policy on your wealth and you have it just in case. Mm. You don't necessarily need or want gold to go to 3,000.
Right.
It's insurance, but you have it if it does. Mm. So I think that's a key point to kind of keep in mind there when you see prices like they are. Yes, we have gold at all-time highs now. We're in uncharted territory, and that's what makes it so hard for people like us to predict where or give you a honest opinion on where gold and silver. We've never been here before. We're at all-time highs. We've never been here before, and we don't know how the market's going to react. Everybody's got an opinion, but the market tells you the truth. And so nobody really knows how the market's going to react.
Right. I'll say this, because if you look at the bigger picture, I always say when in doubt, zoom out. Look at the big picture, and you see gold does, in past market crashes, things that have happened, gold spikes up, and then it does come back down to earth a little bit, and it'll level out and keep moving up. Overall, it's trending upward in the really big picture. So this is definitely a long-term area. It's not something that, you need to move all your stuff into gold right now and hope that it shoots through the roof. That's not at all that kind of situation. It's an insurance policy.
Right. I totally believe in that. So that's kind of like our
sentiment
on
the way we look at the market.
Way we're looking at the market. Got to remember, we're in the summertime. The second part of 2024 is regardless, I think it's not going to be mediocre. I think it's going to be interesting one way or the other. So keep that in mind when you're like, if you want to add some more silver to your stack, some more gold to your safe. Some people are waiting for a price drop down to 2,200, and you might be waiting forever.
See, and I look at silver right now as, gold's moving up quite a bit. We're right around all-time highs right now. And silver, it's just went back below 30. So there's your opportunity.
I think anything silver under 30 is a good, like if you're looking to pull the trigger on say like something like a monster box or a couple 100-ounce bars, I think anything under 30 is like, okay, that's a good deal. This is the way I feel.
I'd agree with you on that. Now I want to talk about, to switch this up, because I feel like there's a little down with the kind of talk, but we have something really exciting that is a possibility for the mint coming up.
I believe it's exciting. I think they've already announced it. I think it's a go.
So they've decided they're going to do it. Now they're in the voting stage for this?
Yeah, so they're asking for the public's help. And if you haven't heard the news and on coin news sites pretty much everywhere, is that the U.S. Mint is partnering with DC Comics to release a superhero coin and metal series, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing for coins. And I'm going to tell you why. My daughter just turned 16, and I gave her 2 silver coins that one was an Iron Man chibi coin. Do you know what a chibi is?
I think that's when they like make a smaller version of a character. It's like a certain art style.
Yeah, it's got like a big head and stuff. Yeah. And it was a square coin. Anyway, in proof 70, obviously. And got her one of those. It was 5-ounce silver coin. And then got her a 1-ounce Iron Man, because she's big into Iron Man. And 16th birthday, mind you, sweet 16, and all the presents that she had. And then she opens the coins and she screams. She's like, yeah. And she has the collectible gene in her. Like,
I wonder where she got that from.
Who knows? Probably her mom. But this is a good thing for coins in general. The biggest thing that people talk about with coins is, you don't want it to die out like stamps did, because stamps died out. I mean, they really has no new collectors coming into the market. So I really applaud the U.S. Mint here with, let's get the younger generation involved. And not only the younger generation, there are several coin dealers out there who handle collectible comic books.
Generations. Yeah.
And I think this is a good move for the U.S. Mint. I can't really see a negative side in it. I did hear a negative sentiment just a minute ago.
What was that?
About a private company partnering with the U.S. government.
I mean, so the Mint is a business. At the end of the day, the Mint's a business.
It's the biggest coin dealer in the world.
Exactly. So they saw an opportunity, because the reality is right now you can go and search and find all these other companies and individual mints and private companies that are making these coins, that are partnering and getting approval to make these coins. There's a million out there. There's Disney ones and all these other, Marvel and DC Comics, and they're out there. I am kind of, my interest is piqued when I hear the U.S. Mint is going to be making one. I was already kind of interested in that stuff before. I might get something from, one of my favorite movies or something like that. That's a great way to collect and stack silver or gold or whatever it may be. But when the Mint makes it, okay, I'm in.
That's just great because you have all these, foreign mints making the Marvel stuff and stuff like that. So to have a U.S. Mint product, comic based,
first ever. I mean,
I think of it this way. My daughter is and still is a huge Iron Man fan. And whether, me or you believe in that or whatever, like she just was and always will be. And so the reason I get her Iron Man stuff, like coins, is, one day my daughter's going to be 30, 35 years old and she's going to have kids of her own. And hopefully she still has the coins that I got for her. And I remember when she was a kid, she would see a plane in the sky flying and she would go, "Look, Mom, it's Iron Man." And so I want that to be a physical thing that she can hold and bring her back to her childhood. And I think for a lot of people, this DC and look, the U.S. Mint has got an iconic brand. It's a real coin.
Yeah.
As some people would say, it's a real coin. And I think it's only good things. And maybe we see some other partnerships down the road. Maybe this opens the door for U.S. Mint and Disney. Whether you like it or not, like you could be out there in YouTube land and be like, "That's stupid. That's not for me." But if it's growing the hobby, you should love it. Because again, the people, the kids or whoever gets involved through DC Comics, and then a certain percentage of them will graduate to real U.S. coins, right? Real U.S. coin collecting. You see Celebrity Men out there, which is ran by the other people who do, the Coin Shop podcast, trying to bring in people like Mike Tyson and autographs and with precious, cards that are made of precious metals so that, trying to grow the hobby. Because if you go to something like Comic-Con and even a sneaker show, or you go to a trading card show and see how massive the event is, it is insane. And then you go to a coin show and you realize there's a lot of room to grow for coins. And as a coin collector, I think you should be happy about that. I think you should sit there and go, how many, like even do this in your own neighborhood, go to the local grocery store and ask people if they know what a $50 gold eagle is. You know how many people think $50 gold eagles are worth $50? I mean, you've seen the people on YouTube who do the whole, I'll give you a chocolate bar or a 10-ounce silver bar, you pick, and how many people pick the chocolate bar?
That's a pretty popular video, yeah.
Maybe we should do a video, Coin Guys on the Road. And
it'd be our luck.
Everybody around here would be like, "I'll take the 10th-ounce gold eagle." Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll lose a bunch of money and get no content from it.
Right. But I'm really excited about it. And because it is a first for the Mint, I love the first of anything, the last of anything, and a lot of collectors do too. So I'm all in. I'm excited. So right now, you told me that we're in the voting stage. They're voting for...
Yeah, so I have to double check when it opens up. I think it's in the July to maybe August that the CCAC, Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee, I got that right. They're asking for like what superheroes should be put on coins in 2025. Obviously, if it's DC Comics, you can't go wrong with Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. And from the U.S. Mint's press release, those are the only three superheroes they have in the forefront, and everybody else is kind of shadowed out. So that leads me to believe that those three will definitely be there, but they're looking for the other ones. And I'm not a comic nerd, so I don't know what other superheroes there are in the DC universe. My luck, I'll say something from Marvel or something.
That's usually the.
But yeah, so if you want to go vote on that. If you're a heavy comic book fan, even if you're not, like you just want to see a cool rendition of. I wish I knew some DC. I'm gonna go look it up after this so that I can like
Go and vote for.
Yeah, I like to see cool stuff, and especially coming from the U.S. Mint. Like I've really liked, the imagination of the other mints. They're not as held down sometimes as the U.S. Mint is, and I've really liked seeing different stuff. Because sometimes to me the Silver Eagle is the Silver Eagle. I love the design change that we got a design change. Love to see, the Gold Eagle design change. I would love to see something more. I like the slight changes. There's an interesting book that was written in the 90s about modern commemoratives that talks about, one of the downfalls of the, because modern gold commemoratives from the U.S. Mint and silver, they don't really do well in the secondary market. It's because that there's no one design, there's the complete design changes every year. There's no series unification there. I like the way the U.S. Mint, I think if the U.S. Mint treated Gold Eagles like they do Platinum Eagles with the changing reverse and the steadfast front of the design, I think that would be extremely cool. Like the V75 they came out with, and all they added was a privy mark, and that coin in Proof 70 was $20,000. Again, the mintage plays a huge part in that.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, to wrap it up, DC Comics and US Mint partnering together, I think is a great thing for the hobby. Whether you're a comic fan or not, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to generate news, and it's going to come in 2025. It's going to generate news for the hobby, bring in some new collectors, and really, it's the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. In the world of marketing, you took, how many Taylor Swift fans now wear Travis Kelce jerseys? You've merged two audiences.
Yeah.
And I think the U.S. Mint the smart people at the U.S. Mint said we could grow because it's financially beneficial for them too, right?
Right.
So again, they make money. Buffalo's came out at, easily $1,000 over melt value. Proof Buffaloes did.
Yeah.
They make money, and there's no, I'm not shaming them for making money. They make money. And so I think that was an incredibly brilliant idea. Tremendous idea, as Donald Trump would say. Tremendous idea.
Yeah.
Really great people in both DC and U.S. Mint. So, yeah, I'm all for it, and I will probably be buying some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe they only do it 1 year, and they release all of them, and I would like to see them partner with other stuff. Maybe Disney, because Disney's got a huge collectible following, and it transcends generations and female and male, because this is a male-driven hobby. And and I know they try to do the women. God, I'm going to get political again, but they try to put the innovative women on coins, circulating coinage this year. There's just not a strong tie. I think like my daughter's not going to go buy a coin because some famous female from the history is on there. I think if they really think about it, and they think about growing the hobby both younger, adding females to the hobby, it's stuff like adding Disney, adding DC Comics with Wonder Woman on it, stuff that strikes a nostalgia chord with people.
Yeah.
And so that's what they need to do, and it appears they're going in that direction. So I hope they do many more.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm excited to see. Is the door is being opened. What will this lead to? So I'm gonna get involved with the first group of coins that they make. They're probably gonna have a high mintage, all that. Got to get them certified.
Could we see like NFL come in down the road? MLB.
You never know. You never know.
You talk about really great ways to grow the hobby. Is getting into other audiences.
Yeah, especially it's good they're starting with pop culture. They're going to start moving that direction. So who knows? 5 years from now, they could have multiple series going across different universes, if you will. One other thing, we had two things we wanted to talk before we finish out. One, I had some questions for you from some previous videos.
Great. Love questions.
All right. So this first one is from Round and Shiny.
Good old Round and Shiny.
Round and Shiny. What coin have you owned, then sold, and regretted ever selling it?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
So
sold a lot of coins. You got to remember about like millions of dollars every year.
So I'm gonna assume that this question's more at a personal collection standpoint. So I'm gonna say for me, mine, and it's not a whole lot of regret, but the 2019 S Enhanced Reverse Proof Silver Eagle. Fortunate enough to get one of those. I saw that I was able to make some good money on it, sold it. So I'm not bitter about it. I did make money on it, but having that coin now, it would still be the same effect, I guess. You make money or you still own it,
So personally, I don't sell a lot of the stuff that I buy, and you know that. Like I just don't. I put it up and I never see it again. So this one is really tough for me, but I will say this. So and I've told this story before, maybe on here. My dad passed away in 1999, and I inherited 31 gold maple leafs. I was 13 years old when my dad passed away, and so at 18, I got 31 gold maple leafs, 1 ounce gold maple leafs. At the time, gold was at an all-time high when I was 18, and I wanted a new bass boat. And gold was $600 an ounce. I sold those for about a little over $18,000. And I don't know if you can do some Texas math real quick, but what would those 31 coins be worth today?
So just make it easy. I mean, you're talking
over 60,000.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing that I do regret, selling. And I know that's not a collectible coin, but I really don't sell my collectible coins at all ever. I don't. I just at all on my personal stuff. I've yet to sell anything really ever. But if we're going to talk about purchases that I regret selling, and that's it.
Yeah.
But because
but you got a lot of
$60,000 could buy me something really cool right now.
Yeah.
And then I'd sell it today, and 10 years from now, I'd be like, God, I can't believe I sold it for only $60,000.
That's how it works. All right. So this next one, now we answered this one on the YouTube channel on that video. But Mimic 13 says, I have a dumb question. In theory, can't I buy a roll of uncirculated blank coins, then send them all in for grading? They should come back mint state 60 or 70.
60 or 70 or
69 or 70.
69 or 70. In theory, you are correct that you could buy coins and they will come back in 69 or 70. I mean, like, as long as they're in good shape. The problem is, and you can argue this point, that you as an individual don't get the price breaks that us dealers get for submitting and keeping NGC and PCGS afloat with our grading fees every month. You'll be surprised at how few 70s you get. I mean, I've sent sealed boxes of monster boxes of backdated Silver Eagles, and all you needed was, just a couple to come in 70, and it'd be a home run, and that's how you're going to make money. And I've had multiple times no 70s, not at all. And you end up losing a little money on the deal or at best breaking even. But that requires a large commitment from, financially, for you to do that. So, again, and I'm assuming we're talking obviously modern coins, current year issue stuff. The hard part is that let's say you buy the Morgan and Peace dollars and you're going to submit them yourself for grading. The problem is you're going to get some 69s in there, right? Or, I've seen 67s come straight from the mint. and then you have like your collections just, that sets just a little bit all over the place. You have, the reverse proof in 70 and this one in 69 or 68. And, you would have been better off leaving it in OGP. And so
Right.
There's pluses and minuses with that. Shipping fees, turnaround times are insane. Get off your butts, NGC, sometimes, like y'all hear me deal with it. But you can't help that.
Yeah.
And so again, pros and cons with it, but you can't buy, I guess I said that to say this, you can't buy mint state coins from, the bullion strikes from the
Right,
US Mint.
right.
So you have to buy it from a dealer. So if you're collecting gold eagles in 70, gold buffaloes in mint state 70, or just, the mint state series, then you're going to have to go through a dealer, and might as well just buy, because you're not going to get our best. If you're calling to buy a raw coin from us, you're not, and that's any dealer. I'm not, we're not, we send our best off.
Right.
So,
and I would say too, if you're talking about, because we've talked about this before, I've come in here and I've had, sealed from the mint, like mint sets or proof sets with, the smaller change coins. Those you can expect 65 to 69.
didn't I tell you not to get them graded?
Well, that's the thing is, you're taking a risk, and if you're optimistic and you're hoping that you're going to get a 70, with those you're probably going to get lower. I would say about a 67 on average, maybe 66. And then with new stuff, if you buy OGP and you send it off, I don't know about doing a roll, but you have the chance of getting a 70.
Yes.
But more than likely, they did say 69, so you could expect a 69 without a doubt. All right, and then the last question is Michael Kruger 8076 says, when do you guys go live stream?
Oh, well, that's above my pay grade.
I would say we're working toward that.
Yeah, I'll say this. We're just good old Texas boys.
Yeah.
Who wear cowboy hats and
fish.
and fish. And so technology is not our greatest strong suit. And so we record these, and then, but whatever technology that we need, because we need some more technology than what we have that y'all can't see. Maybe we invest in that in the future. And I would love to do some live shows. We're pretty close to being able to go live on TikTok. And I would love to do live shows, questions, and give people access to, like, listen, we're, not to toot our own horn, but, we purchase millions upon millions of dollars worth of rare coins every year. And to have that kind of information, somebody you could talk to would be really fun, to have people be able to just ask questions and have like somebody with real industry experience. And, this is my 16th or 17th year doing this. And, cause we get the emails because there's, I'm about to, today or tomorrow, I'm going to write an article about these, the coins that pop up on the news that, hey, this coin sold for, this 1976 bicentennial quarter sold for blah, blah, blah. And, and you get people and call in saying, well, I've got a 1976 bicentennial. Well, yeah, all of America has one of those. But the reason that coin sold, but so to be able to answer some of the questions like that, and people who are first time gold and silver buyers, where's the best place to start? What to avoid in real life? The countless amount of people we've helped with bad IRA deals, the stuff to really, because if you don't know, and somebody who you believe to be knowledgeable tells you one thing and you believe them, they can get over on you. And that's happened a lot with the precious metals IRAs. There's a lot of, we've talked about it before, people paying $60 an ounce just because it's a coin that they don't know or see. It's the same thing with foreign currency. People come in here all the time with, currency from Germany and stuff, and they think it's worth a lot of money because they don't see it over here. Well, it's not rare and nobody wants it. So there's stuff like that I think would be very beneficial for the collecting community to go live, and it'd be great to have some live feedback. And so maybe we look in to see how much that costs to do that.
Yeah. I would say overall it's something that's on our radar. We're not right there yet, but we're heading that direction. So hopefully we can do something like that in the future. And last thing, a little sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, a little sneak peek.
We do have some merch coming out, guys. Coin Guys from Texas hats. We'll be getting these. They're not all white. We've got some different colors, but this is the first. I didn't even get the color that I wanted because you all took them. But I got a white one, and we've got some more coming up. That'll be a great way to support us. Or they're actually good hats. They're Richardson 112s, and so we'll get another shipment in a couple of weeks, and we might even post a link if y'all want to have some. Y'all can have them.
There you go.
Or give some away.
Oh, we might have to do a giveaway. Run a little.
Best question gets a hat.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Ideas for another future episode.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today, and until next time. Oh, that was a good throw.